Hi F1 fan, I hope that you have great time. Today I want to speak about my favorite F1 driver. It is Esteban Ocon. His full name is Esteban José Jean-Pierre Ocon Calfain. Esteban was born on September 17, 1996 in Avro, France. His dad was a mechanic. Esteban started racing in 2006. Unfortunately, his family didn't have enough money for young Esteban to drive go-karts. So, they decided to sell their home to live out of a camper. It was clear from the start that he was a big talent. When he won in 2007 French karting championship, 1 year later he won cadet class title, and went on to win the French KF3 title in 2010. In 2011 was on WSK Euro Series, where he finished only behind champion Max Verstappen. 1 year later Ocon debuted in Formula Renault 2.0 Series. In 2 years he collected 6 podiums and 2 victories. In 2014 Esteban Ocon won the Formula 3 Euro title. After the victory in F3 Esteban was quickly recruited by Toto Wolff. Then he participated in GP3 where he won championship in his debut, and solidified himself as an up-and-coming driver who can in the future drive in F1. Many teams were interested in him. His first experience with Formula 1 was on the 22nd of October 2014, when he tested Lotus in the E20. Roughly a month or so later, he would take part in a Formula 1 session in Abu Dhabi, where he was driving in one practice. In 2015 Esteban was called by Force India for a test in Barcelona. By this point Ocon was already part of Mercedes Academy, and there is one thing clear. With a guy like Toto Wolff and an organization like Mercedes, they wanted to keep their drivers active and in a Formula 1 car as much as possible. So, in 2016 he became a Renault reserve driver and drove for free practice sessions for this team. On the 10th of August 2016 Esteban replaced Rio Haryanto because he had contract issue with his sponsors. Mono wasn't his strong team, and they had some worrying financial issues lingering in the background. But for Esteban it was good opportunity to prove that he can drive Formula 1. His first F1 contract was signed with Force India in November 2016 for season 2017 and for season 2018. Force India team, there was plenty of excitement and hype around Ocon because he could finally fight it for points. Esteban Ocon and Sergio Perez would form an interesting partnership at Force India with many incidents in Grand Prix. In season 2017 Esteban finished on 8th place with 87 points. Perez collected 100 points and he finished on 7th place. Force India collected 187 points and finished on great 4th place. In 2018 Force India had a big financial troubles that year. Fortunately the team was saved by Lawrence Stroll, who is the father of Lance Stroll. It was clear that he would drive in the future for the team that his father had bought. It was almost certain that Lance would drive for his father's team next season. Esteban had an informal agreement with Renault for 2019, but this failed because Daniel Ricciardo left Red Bull and he went to Renault. Ocon this season finished in 12th place with 45 points. It was less than last season. Mercedes would come to the rescue, signing him as a reserve driver. Ocon wouldn't take part race weekend all year, but he was very close to be full-time racing driver for Mercedes in 2020, nearly replacing Valtteri. For 2020, Esteban signed a contract with Renault, where he will be with Daniel Ricciardo. For Esteban it was average year where he finished on 12th place, but managed 2nd place, finished at Sakir Grand Prix. This was Renault's best result since 2010, and his first podium in F1. It would get better in 2021, though Renault would rebrand to Alpine. Fernando Alonso got the chance to race again for the team, where he won the World Championship twice and became Ocon's teammate. In season 2021, which was the best season ever, Esteban finished on 11th place with 74 points. Alonso finished 10th with 81 points, but for Esteban one race made him big dream come true. It was the 1st August 2021 Hungarian Grand Prix, where Esteban won his first F1 race on his career. I want to speak about how did he do it. The opening lap of the Grand Prix was full of chaos. With a pile-up at the first corner, it suddenly felt like one of those races where anything could happen. Esteban started on 8th place but was second after the first corner. Esteban would lead the race after Lewis Hamilton's slow pit stop and kept hold of winning the Grand Prix. It was an incredible race, but even more incredible story. He was a guy with all the odds stacked against him, from humble beginnings with parents willing to risk it all if their son had a better shot than they did, standing on the top step of the podium, a place only a small amount of people have stood since the beginning of time. Esteban wasn't the king of this Grand Prix that day. He was in some ways the king of the world. He wasn't part of that billionaire boys club got in Formula One, not through a rich dad or future seat on a silver platter waiting for him. It was sheer hard work, risk, and sacrifice. It was proof that you don't need a wealthy or privileged background to make it to the top, just the talent, dedication, and mindset to never give up.
Might have been challenging Ocon for the win. No one's challenging Ocon for the win now. Esteban Ocon is going to be a Grand Prix winner in Formula One. Ocon wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. Oh, très bien, and Esteban Ocon.
In 2022, Esteban beat Alonso. Now, to be fair, Alonso had lots of reliability problem with his car. Esteban finished on 8th place with 92 points. For his team it was a successful season, because they finished on 4th place on Constructors' Championship. For season 2023, Alonso left Alpine, and Pierre Gasly joined the team, his old friend and big karting rival. Two guys have rocky relationship, with some even suggesting a hatred between the two. Tough. Recently they seem to have buried the hatchet and had spending some time together. Now is summer break, and Alpine fired their team principal, sporting director and technical director, although Alpine is currently struggling. Esteban took 3rd place in the Monaco Grand Prix. That was big surprise. Esteban has one of the most inspiring stories in F1. Even after his Formula 3 success, he was looking at the possibility of his racing career coming to end, saying that if it wasn't for Toto Wolff, he would be working somewhere or drive another series. His parents that will work and work, support their kids no matter what, putting it all on the line, in the hope that one day it will pay off and give their child a better life. The Ocon family are big inspiration, beating the odds and creating one of the best F1 success stories. Thank you for your time if you see it to the end, and have a nice day.